Hi, this is Jaldo, aka Frags with the DNB Academy, and welcome to another sound recreation video. For this one, I bring you this hit by Chasing Status and Becky Hill, and the track is called Disconnect. Pretty sure that everyone here heard it already, and we're gonna be focusing on making the main lead sound, alright? So first things first, let's take a listen to the original, and then what we did with that lead, alright? So yeah, this is the lead, right? Now let's hear this with our recreation on top of it. I'm just gonna lower the volume a bit. So let's go. So yeah, this is it. Looks pretty legit to me. So let's dive deep into Serum and recreate the patch and all the processing. Now that we got our Serum loaded in, we gotta be looking at the sound as it is, right? So it's a pretty classic synth, used a lot on different genres, so we gotta keep it simple and fundamental, all right? So first things first, let's start with our oscillator A, which will be a saw wave. So we can keep it default, or you can go to analog, basic shapes, and select the second one, which is the saw wave, all right? So for that, we're just gonna tune this one octave lower, and now we're gonna turn on oscillator B. We're also gonna make this one basic shapes, saw wave, right? This time we're gonna keep it with regular octave, and we're gonna tune this 4 semitones higher, all right? And we need to shape it now, all right? Because for now we should have something like, so pretty familiar, right? But we need to shape it. It's just too stale and too, you know. And even if I play you the riff, let me solo it. It's not there, all right? So for that, we're gonna use our main envelope, okay? And we're gonna set this one in envelope mode, right? Even though this is obviously the Serum's LFO. And we're gonna do a shape, something like this, right? At first, this is how we're gonna approach it, all right? And then we're gonna turn off the Anc and BPM because we wanna leave it free, all right? We're gonna set this to like somewhere around 0.8. That way, if we assign this to the level of both our oscillators, it's starting to get there, all right? It's starting to feel like the actual synth. We probably gave it too much of an attack here. Just bring it back a bit. And now we're gonna turn on the filter. Really important, okay? So let's assign the filter to both our oscillators, all right? And then we're gonna actually assign the same envelope to the filter cutoff. We're gonna make it polar, all right? So it just goes on one direction. And looking at the spectrum, it's just fine, you know? So we need to kind of do something like this, all right? Will be later on tuned, but we need to make sure that we leave some brightness on the synth. We don't want to keep it too dark, in that sense. And now let's go to our main master envelope here and just give it a bit of release. You see, now it just doesn't end that abruptly, okay? Banger. This is pretty much all we have to do within the patch itself. We might just add a little extra, you know, just to the noise. We can definitely go with like a bright white, for instance. And we also gonna assign this to the filter and make it sound with the same shape as everything else. So it's just like, you can brighten it up a bit better, adding that noise to the mix. Look. I'll end up like adjusting it later, but for now, I think we're good. Let's flip into the effects section to polish the sound a bit better, all right? First thing, distortion. And for this one, we're gonna go with the R clip. all right, hard clipper in this case. So we kind of could just like glue these oscillators, everything else, and give it a bit more volume, right? Starting to get there. Then second thing would be chorus, okay? But we're gonna turn the high pass filter because we just want to apply this mainly to the higher frequencies. So we can create a bit more width to our sound. We could go with like hyperdimension, for instance, but you know, I'm not a big fan, but it could work here. If I would turn the unison off, just use the dimension. It could definitely work, you know. Now we're gonna add a slight delay to this, a ping pong in this case. We're gonna filter it out. We're gonna link it. Gonna make it a bit faster, right? Maybe more. Set this around 2K, 3K here on the filter. You know, just winds up the sound. And to kind of wrap this up, we're gonna kind of compress it, you know, so we're gonna turn on the compressor and make it multi-band, right? So we're actually OTTing it. We want to control, like, especially what's going on down there on the lower range of our sound, which is a bit too much. So we're gonna take everything down, boost our mids. That's the most important part of our sound here. Now with the OTT, we can actually decrease the feedback of our delay and the mix of all these things, because now the OTT is kind of gonna bring it up. Some tweaks here, you know, just for the sake of having a more compressed sound, you know. Good to me. And within the synth itself, within Serum, I think that's pretty much all we need to do. Let's just go back to our DAW and add a bit of EQing to wrap up the sound and see how it feels like on top of the original, right? So we got our EQ loaded in right after Serum on our chain, and we're gonna do some fundamental utility work. All right, first things first, we're gonna get rid of this bassy harmonic. That's the spot for our bass, not for the lead. Then I feel like we could just clean it a bit by bringing down like this frequency range of like 500 Hertz. Like these two harmonics. Just giving some more room on the mid-range, and then we can boost these by adding a dynamic band here. Just doing it like this. The sound is definitely getting like brighter. We can always go back to our Serum, alright? And just play around with the filter. Modulations, obviously, because you don't want to make the exact same sound as Chase and Status did here, but you could definitely take this as a foundation and build on top of it, all right? So let's finally see and hear how our sound matches the original, all right? Let's go for it. So yeah, this is it guys. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.